You are listening to the Park Flyer Podcast, where we discuss our RC adventures.
Welcome to the Park Flyer Podcast, where we discuss the ups and downs of the new RC Flyer. Join your hosts, Michael and Jay, as they take flight at the park. Now on with the show.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Park Flyer Podcast. I'm Michael from Arizona, and with me always is my good friend
Jay from the hills of Texas.
And we'd like to welcome you back to the Park Flyer Podcast. We have been discussing the Infinity Wing Maiden. Infinity Wing is made from 3D Aeroventures. This is part 2. We discussed last time on the podcast the Maiden and using the 4-cell batteries. And just as we were getting ready to go, I told everybody that I bought these bolts. They're a Turnigy bolt, 1,000 milliamp battery. I'm really excited about using them. They are a high voltage, and I've read some good reviews on them. So this one's brand new, just came in the mail. I told Jay about them, and you were actually going to buy some.
Yeah, so it turns out that, guess what battery's really hard to find right now?
A 1,000 milliamp battery.
1,000 3S battery, right. For whatever reason, the stocks are running out on those things. Now, if you want a 4-cell 1,000, there's a zillion of them because everybody's using them in quads or quad racing and stuff. But the 3S ones versions, they're just bone dry. So I went to Hobby King to try to get some. Everybody, after you got yours, everybody was out. So I was looking around to see where I could find some, and I thought, this will be no big deal. But either people had some, but the shipping was so high with to get a couple of batteries, and with the shipping was equally as high as the batteries or whatever. It was just ridiculous. I just kind of had to keep looking, and so I finally had to go to Banggood Hobbies, my old backup, and they had a little special on. So I got some Zop batteries for like $23 delivered. So I got a couple of those on the way. So I made mine because all my 1,000 milliamp batteries that I have all have JST connectors on them. So I don't exactly have an
You have JST connectors on yours?
On the little 3S batteries that I have, yeah. They just has JST connectors on them. Because I had them in small parts.
You are correct. Yeah, I actually have that too, but right. These actually have the XT 90s on them.
No, 60s.
No, XT 60s. Yeah. So that was my problem too. I was looking for one that had an XT 60 because he actually has an XT 60 in the airplane, and I was looking for a battery that had it. So, and I have to apologize because I literally bought the last 2 or 3 in stock or 4 in stock.
Yeah.
I did. I actually was going to order 4 or 5 of them, and it said, you can only order what we have. I literally ordered the last part of what was in the U.S. warehouse. So that was my fault. Sorry.
Well, like I said, you can still get them. You can still get them at Banggood Hobbies. They have them there, and it's free shipping, and it only takes a week or 2 to get them, so it's not too bad. Sure. Oh, and by the way, on our website, I put up. There was one of the places here in the States was having a big battery sale, so I guess they're getting rid of all their stale batteries. So I ended up picking up a couple of 6-cell 5000s. I haven't flown any of them yet, but they just came in the mail the other day. $64, so couldn't go wrong. So I picked up a couple to add to the inventory.
Yeah, well, there you go. I think that was rcbattery.com or something like that.
Yeah.
Something like that.
So, like I said,
I did get those, but I had already ordered mine. Yeah, I had ordered.
Yeah, I was just saying if you go to the our Facebook, I posted it on our Facebook group. So the sale's still going on, and they still have a bunch of. If you need 6 cells, they have a bunch of those, bunch of 4 cells, but they're going quick. So if you haven't had a chance, just jump on our Facebook listeners group, and you can get the address and and jump to the site and enjoy.
Very nice. Very cool. Well, we're excited about it. I'm very interested to hear, your maiden story. And I know that last week we were talking about it. You may have had a couple of questions you were going to ask me, but this airplane is incredibly stable. I was very, very shocked at, of course, like I said, last time I'd flown this before, I had flown Eric's, I think it was his original or prototype or whatever, and we had actually flown it at the field. And the only thing for me is this low speed regime, and I got really not nervous, but I was really cognizant of flying it at a little bit faster speeds, but it seemed to have slowed down some. I just don't know what the speed is that I would lose it at. And
right,
that kind of intrigues me.
With the wing, you get a little bit of a wobble
when you come into land,
when you start flying slow, but this thing, you're not getting any indications. Huh.
Well, I didn't get any indications. I would be interested. Maybe we should get Eric back, and ask him, get you to maiden years and then figure it out. But I don't know if he lost the first one because he got it too slow or got it into a spin and stalled it and spun it. Maybe he doesn't want to get it that, have to rebuild it another one too. But I would be interested if somebody has, downloaded these plans and made one or have gotten it, up into that. I guess there's got to be somebody or some way to make like a recovery parachute on it that if it actually went, into something that you couldn't recover from, you could hit a button and deploy a parachute maybe.
Yeah, I don't know where you'd put it.
I don't know if that's a viable solution.
There's not a lot of room in there.
Yeah, that's true. There's not a lot of room. Maybe you can make some back doors right behind the wing. It has a rudder, so pop open. That is correct. Yeah, it does have a rudder. So I can't remember if he told us. Did he tell us that the bigger one had similar issues in slow speed flight?
I don't remember him. I don't remember him foot stomping like he did this time with "Don't get it slow," because he did that whenever you don't get it slow. Oh, yeah, so the other thing for not getting it slow, did you have the brake on, or did you fly with a brake or without a brake?
I did have the brake on, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
So it was not windmilling, so it wasn't. And he set that up. I think that was set up in the original, the way he had it. Or maybe just when I plugged it in, it was automatic. But it did come to a stop. So it windmilled a little bit, but it stopped. So it does glide pretty well, though. I mean, I was really shocked at the way it glides. It does have a lot of lift with that wing on top and the wing, the lower and upper wings. It does, it doesn't float like it. It's kind of weird because you get some airplanes that kind of float down the runway. This one doesn't seem to float. It seems to fly. Like it's still developing, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, I'm done, and then you kind of fly it onto the runway. It's not like a tail dragger where you would get down low and then kind of bump the throttle and then set it on the ground where you've got like an actual stall portion of it. This one's got a high enough nose attitude that you would just kind of keep it, and it's kind of very much like a glider. Matter of fact, I would say that it lands very similar to my ASW 28.
Oh, really?
Almost identical, actually. Yeah. It had about the same glide, right? I mean, it's fast, so it takes a little bit of time to burn all that energy off. And then I think at that point, you just kind of give it a little bit of nose up, and it just flies right to the ground. So,
well, my biggest concern,
but I would be interested to see in your instance about.
Well, what I was going to say was what I was kind of my biggest thing was why I went ahead and got a foldable propeller, because that was my greatest concern, was that 8-inch prop. Out here in the Texas dirt, or with you out in Arizona, getting caught or breaking props, all the time, because that would, that's potential of catching all the time, because 8-inch prop compared to the body of this thing, it's, not to say it's super huge, but it is kind of a big prop for such a small plane.
Yeah, no, I mean, I get it. I totally understand.
But you didn't have any problems.
I didn't. I of course, I was on the grass, right? So I didn't really have to worry too much about it. I haven't flown it off the asphalt yet. But, like anything else, the wing doesn't use I don't use folding props on my wing. And so, I just kind of, with the brake on, it just kind of stops. And then if it does touch the ground, it just kind of rights itself. And with this one having the wheel on it, I really didn't think it was that big of a deal. So It didn't seem so for me anyway. But, I mean, who knows? If I go fly it on the desert and I scrape the tips off of it, maybe I'll change my mind and put a folding prop. But for the moment, it seems to, be able to do well. It seems to be able to do well with just the brake and, and the wheel on it. Which that wheel is amazing because the wheel's foam as well. Or it's, what do you call it? What is it? PLA or... It's 3D printed. TPU. The wheel is 3D printed, but it's very spongy. It's soft. TPU, that's the name of it. There you go. That's crazy. But you can squeeze it like a regular tire. It feels like a rubber tire.
Yeah, it sure does.
It's pretty amazing.
And look at that little detail.
Yeah, you can kind of push it in there. Well. It's got, dude, the tread on it's amazing. It's cool. Well, I have to give a shout out to Eric. He has done a fabulous job, basically designing this airplane. It is so much fun to fly. And it is definitely one of those airplanes that everybody was interested in. I mean, when I brought it out and started flying it, I think pretty much everybody at the park, including the non-pilots, stopped to watch it because it is very unique.
It's unique, yeah.
I love the lime green color. It's just really stark in the blue skies. I'm sure the yellow will be just as stark, but it is very, very cool. And the fact that, he's using lime green PLA and not having to paint it, it's even more amazing. So I had so much fun. I know Mike had a great time. He did not get to fly it due to the fact that it was a maiden, and we were kind of in the park. I was trying to figure out if I was going to let him fly it or not, but I think we had run our course of luck with the L39 the day before.
L39
I don't think he was willing to do that again. So, yeah, so I think he was kind of like, no, you do this one, and then maybe next time. So now the good news is he has a 3D printer, so maybe he can do some work and create one. But
well, he can definitely build this one.
Once I get more comfortable with it, I may put him on the sticks. Oh, yeah. Easy.
So he has no excuse.
No, he sure doesn't. Other than the fact that he may not have the right TPU or PLU or whatever colors. Knowing him, it'd be all white anyway, right?
Well, he might have to pick up some plaster filament. Considering, I think the last color that he has, or only color he has, is that hot pink that he got on sale somewhere. So, and that's
right.
Been lasting him for everything. That super hot.
He could
pink,
make it a hot pink, I'm sure.
Oh my gosh, it's a hot pink that's obnoxious.
Yeah, I can't remember what it was. Yes, I was at his house the other day. He had something sitting on the desk that was hot pink, and I just started laughing because I was like, "Oh yeah, he must have 3D printed that." But it was very, the good news is you're not going to lose it.
Nope,
because you can see it. I think it glows in the dark. It's so hot pink, but it is pretty funny though. So did you mention that you ordered your batteries, but they're not in yet, right?
Yeah, I ordered my batteries
that's true.
A week and a half ago or so I probably got another week and a half to wait until I get in on that super slow boat from China. Okay. In fact, they got to build the boat to get it here. So,
yes, that's true. This reminds us back in the good old Hobby King days, right? So they were,
yeah.
It wasn't Hobby King. What was it before?
Hobby City.
was something. Anyway, it was something before we used to order way back in the day. Hobby City, that's what it was. And anyway, we would combine our orders and order like 8 weeks or 10 weeks or 2 months in advance, because we knew it would be here. It would take it forever to get here. So you would prep your build by ordering your parts first and then wait for a little bit and then start the build so that by the time you got ready for your parts, they were just now arriving. So that was pretty funny. And you'd order several of them for several builds. That way you kind of had to make plans to build something.
You had to make plans.
But anyway. Yeah.
Well, unfortunately, those days are over.
I'm really excited about you getting yours up and running.
Oh yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait to fly my to get my maiden. Like I said, I'm just kind of chomping on the bit. Now that I've heard about you flying it, and I heard from both you and AK Mike about how well it flew and the oohs and ahs from everybody at the field. Like I said, I can't wait. I just can't wait. I told Jim all about it, so he's excited. So yeah, it's going to be a good time whenever those batteries get here. Although
Jim has a 3D printer as well, right? Or no?
No, he does not.
Oh, okay.
He does not have a 3D
You may have to what now?
I may have to, if I have to print anything, I'd have to print it for him.
Oh, gotcha. So you said you may have to something, and I missed it.
Yeah, no, I was saying if Jim needs anything printed, I would have to print it for him.
Oh, gotcha. Well, that makes sense. I mean, you've got the ability to do it, and of course, like I said, the plans are already there on 3D Aeroventures. So, and it's just the right size for a small desktop printer. You don't have to have something major. So, now I will tell you. Did you see the Eric over at 3D Aeroventures? He did send us a new video of his latest, greatest project. And you were able to see it, right? You know what it was.
Yeah, I sure did.
He has built, I don't know, are we allowed to tell him? I guess he's posted it already, right?
That's a good question.
I don't know. I can't remember.
I can't.
Well, I'm going to let the cat out of the bag.
He's
He's not going to be very happy if he's trying to go.
Well, we better check with him before, but
yeah, I can't either. I don't know.
It's a cool freaking project. That's all I got to say.
It is a cool project, and I'm not sure that I don't know for sure if he has posted those on YouTube or not. I think he might have. I think he may have already posted pictures of it. But he was talking to us not too long ago about a new project, and I'm trying to figure out if he has it on his website so that we could actually mention it. But he did put a new project together, and it is amazing. And the video, just the way it looks, is truly crazy that he was able to get all this done. Okay, so the plans are not on his website as of yet, so we may keep this a secret. I may just keep it a secret just for because I know he's into development, and he's got several projects that he's done. The latest one was the Super Chipmunk, the Twin Chipmunk. He brought that to the Arizona Electric Festival. We talked about that, and then this mini Infinity Wing that he has available as well. But we'll be excited. We'll check with him just to make sure that we're not stepping out or throwing something out there. But he does have some pretty cool projects in the works, and luckily for us, we sometimes get a little preview. But if we don't throw it under the bus and tell everybody what it is first. So stay tuned. He might have have it out there.
Well, I will say, Mike, that one of the things that he did do with this new build is all the techniques that he's been working on are all combined in this final build. And I'm talking about stuff that he got from doing the double chipmunk, the way he was able to incorporate the carbon spars, carbon throughout the body of the aircraft, and all that being molded in, from the the TPU tires, all that stuff. It's getting culminated into this model, and it just looks beautiful.
Okay, good news. He has posted it on 3D Aeroventures YouTube site. So if it's already up on the YouTube, then I'm sure we don't have a problem talking about it. But he has designed, built, and flown the B-17. And it is amazing. If you haven't seen it, go over to 3daeroventures.com on his YouTube channel. He's already posted a video of it, and it is truly phenomenal. That thing looks amazing. Just the tires that look great, the turrets that look fantastic. I mean, he has really outdone himself. It's the first World War II, B-17G. It's a flying fortress. It is truly amazing. So, and I love the little video that he did because it's got, the guys from, what is it, the movie that did the Memphis Belle or whatever it was, where they, were in the cockpit. Right. I think one of them got hit by shrapnel or whatever. It was actually a soup can. They thought they were, So he's done that one, and then he did the 3D printed scalable RC giant design. He mentioned what that one was about, but he's got a YouTube video of that as well, and it's a couple months old. So head on over to 3D Aeroventures on their YouTube site, and you can kind of check it out and see what we were able to see a little while ago when he first did the Maiden. So I think he's gonna post those plans soon, or he's developing them. Maybe he hasn't posted them yet, but it is amazing. So check it out over there. We appreciate Eric. He has been a longtime sponsor and a friend of the show, and has just been phenomenal to us. We've hosted him several times at the Arizona Electric Festival, and I think this last time we were. He kind of came and hung out with us, and we had a good time. So it's always good to see him. And because he's directly between Jay and I, we need to make a road trip where the two of us meet in El Paso and hook up and actually go fly some of these really cool projects.
Hey, yeah, there you go.
We'll have to do that one of these times. Maybe when it gets a little cooler. Mm-hmm. Well, he's actually mentioned it. I mean, he's invited us out. It's just our schedules are having a hard time getting together. So, well, in the short time we have, you and Jim got to go fly again, I think.
Actually,
and, tested some stuff.
It's always kind of funny whenever we go to fly, right? It's it's been too cold, or the weather's been bad because it's middle of winter. Although winter in Texas, right? And then we got to this point where we're like, oh, beautiful weather. It's spring. We got out a couple of times, and then we started to get into, hey, we're going to start flying, every week or twice a week. And Texas got hit with the hottest weather we've had, ever. So it's been like Phoenix hot here, and it just has sapped us dry. We're just, we're so busy staying in the house being lazy. We've been meaning to get out to go fly, and I mean, the last time we went out to fly was during the 4th of July when my friend Tom was
Arizona
out here,
weather,
and we have this little tradition when we celebrate the 4th of July. We go out to the flying field, and we have a little shooting place out there. So we go out and we celebrate the 4th by expressing our freedom, and so in between our expressions and setting up new targets. Jim also joined us this year, so he brought out a few planes. So while Tom is out redoing targets or setting up something, Jim and I would get out and fly something really quick, which is pretty nice. And like I said, Jim's using his new radio now, so the nice part about that is we're learning something new during that time each week, because there's always something new in the plane that we both would learn on how to set up in the aircraft. So that's been the nicest part about it. We're slowly going through Jim's inventory of aircraft, and we're adding them to his new radio. And let me tell you, it's a joy with his new radio, because Jim, he has all his stuff spread out between 3 and 4 radios from Futaba, Spectrum, and a few others. So the nice part about this new radio, it has a module that can emulate any of the frequencies that are out there. So, it's just real nice now. One radio, once you set it up, it remembers it. You don't have to pull out a module and stick it in a new module or any of that kind of crap. It just knows, and you set it up and you just go. So although there's been a steep learning curve, hey, we're doing really well. So yeah, I'm pretty excited because I'm learning something I can use on my radio, and Jim's learning some new stuff on his radio. So it's been a lot of fun.
And what type of radio was it that he has again?
I think he has a Radio Master 16S. I think is what it's called. So basically, it's operating off the old Taranis.
So that does that. Right. Yeah, I think but it uses something different than OpenTX, though, right? Didn't they do something different?
Right. So OpenTX is what the older Taranises were using, and now they have this thing called Edge TX, which is a more updated, user-friendly format. And I've switched my older radio over to this Edge TX. And, it's way better than the older version was, and it's a lot user-friendly is a nice term to use with this. So, yeah. But there still is a little bit of a learning curve because it's so different from, like dealing with our spectrums and stuff.
Right. Well, that's cool. I'm, excited to hear it. I need to come down there so I can actually kind of see it because it'd be interesting, looking at the new radio where he can just plug it in and go, hey, this one, this one's ready to fly. As opposed to going, wait a second, what does this switch do? What does this switch do?
Yeah, and so the nice part
and I
about
think you
that
can put your own voice on there too, right?
Oh, yes.
So he can actually talk to it.
Absolutely. You sure can. And the nice part about it too is, besides putting your own voice, you could take pictures of your aircraft and upload them, for the radio models. So when you going through radio models, you see an actual picture of the plane if you want.
Right.
It does a ton of stuff. It's just quite amazing. In fact, it can be a little mind-boggling with the stuff that you're able to do or affect on this radio. It can drive you kind of crazy. But the nice part is you can set up a template that you want to use, meaning you can set up some basic switches like your throttle cutoff, your timers, and you can set up like a basic template for doing all your planes the same so that, I'll say the problem that Jim had, since he had 2 or 3 different styles of radios and different brands, was that the switches might be in different spots. And the reason, because, right, on like a Futaba, you might have the trainer switch, on the right upper side, where a Spectrum, the trainer switch is on, there's a little button on the left side. And it's just stuff like that are different on the radios. And so it would get kind of confusing when you're switching between the radios and we're doing stuff. You get used to doing it one way on one radio, and you lose it on the next radio. So this way, everything's the same. It's very nice.
Smart, yeah. Well, I totally get that because I try to keep all my switches on every airplane the same, all forward or all backward, and then all mine are forward. I think all yours are back, but it definitely makes a difference when you put them all together. So.
Oh yeah.
So that you're not, flipping through switches and trying to figure out which one does what.
Well, the biggest thing for me is I just like his
that's
talks.
exciting.
So just having his radio talk is just a bonus.
Yeah, that's the major leap from some of the stuff he had before.
Yeah.
Oh, getting that stuff ready to go. So. Well, man, our time is up, and I know, right? We appreciate you joining us for part 2 of our Infinity Wing story. It is always a pleasure to have you stop by the Park Flyer podcast. We appreciate all those people who were giving Jay a hard time in the phone and email realm. Join us over at parkflyerpodcast at gmail.com or go to our Facebook listeners group and post a picture of your airplane or batteries or whatever it is. We always like to hear from our listeners. So we're going to finish up for tonight. So I'm Michael from Arizona.
And I'm Jay from the hills of Texas.
And we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Let's fly.
You have been listening to the Park Flyer Podcast. Thank you for joining us, and we look forward to your next visit. Please give our show a star rating and review, and feel free to email us your questions, topics, or suggestions to parkflyerpodcast@gmail.com.